Hey, future people. This is Erica from the past. And I'm here.
Yeah. And Kenrya.
Oh, yeah. My co-host.
I'm here
my
too.
co-host, Killa. You know what also was interesting listening to these again? Listening to how how things have kind of developed. So, like, wine, weed, whatever you need, or
yes,
my ho-host.
I was going to call that out.
Oh, see?
Yeah. No, we be on the same wavelength.
We be on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this week we're double dipping. We're going back to an old episode, and this week's episode is the season finale of our first episode.
Kinda. Not
the
exactly.
penultimate.
Yes, episode of the first season.
The penultimate episode of the first season.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is titled My Boo.
I hate that song. I hate it. And I love Usher. And
Alicia Keys on it, though?
Yes, and I am not an Alicia Keys fan.
Alicia Keys is always very on the nose. Like, just a little too... Like, I need a little more metaphor. Nuance, yeah.
Doesn't do it for me.
I am strong. I fight niggas. I slay dragons. Give me an award.
Yes, that. But yet we ended up naming this episode after my boo. But that's fine. She's walking around trying to find her boo, and that's what happened. That's fine. Listening to this episode again made me see, like, we were still, I think, in our first season kind of stuck in a binary a bit. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's a lot of times where, like, now I think we're a lot more expansive in our language and making sure that, everybody is included in the things that we say. But there was a lot of, like, using nigga but not in the expansive way, or, like, speaking specifically about having sex with men or whatever. So I was glad to be able to reflect on the fact that we've gotten much better about that than we were in the first season. Mm-hmm. Also, it was kind of fun, and then this is my nerd hat, we spent a lot of this episode just, like, analyzing the text in real time together, and it was
we were definitely on some, like, I feel like I don't know if I deserve a dissertation degree after this.
A PhD.
Okay, same difference.
Sex in the Bible,
bitch. Same difference. So yeah.
Nah, it was good.
Yep. So all right, y'all. Wine, weed, whatever you need. Get at
it. Enjoy.
Come here. Get off.
So welcome to this week's very special episode of The Turn On with your host, Erica and Kenrya. Okay, y'all, welcome back.
I like that.
Oh my God. Remember, so at our kids' schools, parent back to school night, the video rolls and the first song that they had was Welcome Back.
It was, and I was thinking about your ass.
I was like, yes, they listen to The Turn On. All those parents in this hippy dippy school. Okay, so welcome back. This week we're going to do something a little different. We are going to read from the Song of Solomon in the Bible. Oh snap. So I will, preface by saying this is the most you're gonna hear me say dick and pussy
when talking about Jesus.
The episode, just because I still feel like a little church girl in my white socks and stockings and my head slicked back with smelling blue magic grease when I read directly from the Bible. But we'll get into that also. So we're reading excerpts from the Song of Solomon, which is in the Bible. We are reading from the contemporary English version. I will touch on why we'll go into a little bit more details later. But nonetheless, here you go. Sit back, relax, get your wine, get your weed, get your... weed is an herb. It's a flower, okay? So get your wine, get your weed, get your water-based I'm trying to find something that starts with a W that's a little churchy.
I don't know what that may be. Wafers.
You what? Get your wine, get your weed, get your wafers. Communion. That kind. Communion wafers. Anyway, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey. Song of Solomon, the Bible, Contemporary English Version. She speaks. Kiss me tenderly. Your love is better than wine, and you smell so sweet. All the young women adore you. The very mention of your name is like spreading perfume. Hurry, my king. Let's hurry. Take me to your home. The young women speak. We are happy for you, and we praise your love even more than wine. She speaks. Young women of Jerusalem, it is only right that you should adore him. My skin is dark and beautiful, like a tent in a desert or like Solomon's curtains. Don't stare at me just because the sun has darkened my skin. My brothers were angry with me, and they made me work in the vineyard, and so I neglected my complexion. Don't let the other shepherds think badly of me. She speaks. I am merely a rose from the land of Sharon, a lily from the valley. He speaks. My darling, when compared with other young women, you are a lily among thorns. She speaks. If you were my brother, I could kiss you whenever we happen to meet, and no one would say I did wrong. I could take you to the home of my mother, who taught me all I know. I would give you delicious wine and fruit juice as well. Put your left hand under my head and embrace me with your right arm. Young women of Jerusalem, promise me by the power of deer and gazelles never to awaken love before it is ready. Their friends speak. Who is this young woman coming in from the desert and leaning on the shoulder of the one she loves? She speaks. I stirred up your passions under the apple tree where you were born. Always keep me in your heart and wear this bracelet to remember me by. The passion of love bursting into flame is more powerful than death, stronger than the grave. Love cannot be drowned by oceans or floods. It cannot be bought no matter what is offered. Their friends speak. We have a little sister whose breasts are not yet formed. If someone asks to marry her, what should we do? She isn't a wall that we can defend behind a silver shield. Neither is she a room that we can protect behind a wooden door. She speaks. I am a wall around a city. My breasts are towers, and just looking at me brings him great pleasure. Solomon has a vineyard at Baal-Hamon, which he rents to others for 1,000 pieces of silver each. But my vineyard is mine alone. Solomon can keep his silver, and the others can keep their share of the profits. He speaks. You are in the garden with friends all around. Let me hear your voice. She speaks. Hurry to me, my darling. Run faster than a deer to mountains of spices. She speaks. Let the north wind blow, and the south wind too. Let them spread the aroma of my garden so the one I love may enter and taste its delicious fruits. She speaks. I was asleep, but dreaming. The one I love was at the door, knocking and saying, my darling, my very own, my flawless dove, open the door for me. My head is drenched with evening dew. But I had already undressed and bathed my feet. Should I dress again and get my feet dirty? Then my darling's hand reached to open the latch, and my heart stood still. When I rose to open the door, my hands and my fingers dripped with perfume. My heart stood still while he spoke to me, but when I opened the door, my darling had disappeared. I searched and shouted, but I could not find him. There was no answer. Then I was found by the guards patrolling the town and guarding the wall. They beat me up and stripped off my robe.
Young woman of Jerusalem, if you find the one I love, please say to him, she is weak with desire. She speaks. He is handsome and healthy, the most outstanding among 10,000. His head is purest gold. His hair is wavy, black as a raven. His eyes are a pair of doves bathing in a stream flowing with milk. His face is a garden of sweet-smelling spices. His lips are lilies dripping with perfume. His arms are branches of gold covered with jewels. His body is ivory, decorated with sapphires. His legs are columns of marble on feet of gold. He stands there majestic like Mount Lebanon and its choice cedar trees. His kisses are sweet. I desire him so much. Young woman of Jerusalem, he is my lover and friend. She speaks. My darling has gone down to his garden of spices where he will feed his sheep and gather lilies. I am his, and he is mine, and he feeds his sheep among the lilies. He speaks. You are a princess, and your feet are graceful in their sandals. Your thighs are works of art, each one a jewel. Your navel is a wine glass filled to overflowing. Your body is full and slender like a bundle of wheat bound together by lilies. Your breasts are like twins of a deer. Your neck is like ivory, and your eyes sparkle like the pools of Heshbon by the gate of Bath Ribbon. Your nose is beautiful like Mount Lebanon above the city of Damascus. Your head is held high like Mount Carmel. Your hair is so lovely it holds a king prisoner. You are beautiful, so very desirable. You are tall and slender like a palm tree, and your breasts are full. I will climb that tree and cling to its branches. I will discover that your breasts are clusters of grapes, and that your breath is the aroma of apples. Kissing you is more delicious than drinking the finest wine. How wonderful and tasty. She speaks. My darling, I am yours, and you desire me. Let's stroll through the fields and sleep in the villages. At dawn, let's slip out and see if grapevines and fruit trees are covered with blossoms. When we are there, I will give you my love. Perfume from the magic flower fills the air, my darling. Right at our doorstep, I have stored up for you all kinds of tasty fruits.
Okay, so welcome back. I hope that we can get some good conversation around this. First, let's start off with why I picked this particular version of the Song of Solomon. I picked the contemporary English version because, as we all know, the Bible was written by a bunch of men over
a long period of time. And I think that the more contemporary versions try to be better at kind of washing out some of the anti-womanness, anti-blackness that was written in it. When I first picked Song of Solomon and I was reading various versions of it, the line that says, my skin is dark and beautiful. Yeah.
In a lot of the other versions, it would say, my skin is dark, yet lovely. Or my skin is dark, but I'm pretty. That
always
kind of
a
thing.
but there.
Exactly.
Oof,
and I
pretty
feel
for a dark-skinned girl.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I don't know if that really was it.
Right.
So I found this contemporary English version and kind of listened to a few scholars. Oh, and let me give the disclaimer. By no means.
We are not biblical scholars.
We are not biblical scholars. We are not trying to be biblical scholars. We are just two black girls
who believe in God.
Who believe in the Lord.
But also believe in pleasure.
Exactly.
And those things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Exactly. And the purpose of this episode is to kind of walk through our decisions and thoughts about that. But I'm not trying to be a biblical scholar. Not trying to be a biblical scholar. Not trying to act like I'm one. So if you have your, well, look, this happened. All right, girl. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. But we're going with what we're reading and how we're feeling. So back to what I was saying.
Yes.
I feel like the dark yet beautiful or dark yet lovely was just, a setup from the beginning of teaching people that dark skin isn't beautiful. And so I was really adamant on finding a version of this reading that didn't contain the thou, those, these.
Yes, and buts. Oh,
but
yeah.
I also wanted something that reflected what I feel was the intent of this, which is saying that my skin is dark and beautiful, and it's not a but or a disclaimer, but just the fact that
this is who I am.
This is who I am, and I still feel like I'm beautiful for that. So that's why we went with this particular version.
That's dope.
So I said this. They were setting up standards of white beauty, and I think it's also interesting. And I'll kind of call out some points in these passages, but I also think it was interesting how they used the old timey just metaphors for beauty. So they were like, your cheeks are like pomegranates. I can't remember if we read that part. Or your bosom is like two deers. Like, let a nigga tell me I got bosom like two deers. I'm gonna be like, the fuck? But
Thank you.
But I mean, it worked out.
Yes.
It worked out for old timey biblical days. Right?
It did.
Okay.
Can we
can
we talk, or will we later kind of talk about the dark skin things? I kind of think that's an important thing for us to pull up.
Okay. I was gonna
we're gonna do that later.
No, we can do it now.
Well, because what this made me think of is something that happened to me my first week of school in undergrad, and it's happened in various forms, but this was the most blatant version of it. I was in the cafeteria, just minding my business, getting my lunch, and some dude walked up to me and tried to talk to me. I mean, I'm a freshman. He's, I don't know, maybe a junior. And I was like, no, thank you. And he was like, what you mean? And I was like, no, thank you. And he was like, I mean, you should be glad I'm trying to talk to you because most... Oh, no, I didn't finish. Because most dudes don't even like dark-skinned girls. And I was like, I've never had that problem. And I walked away and went on about my business. I can't remember his face. I don't know his name. But the fact that he had the fucking audacity, because that's what niggas always got if they ain't got nothing else, is audacity, to say that to me.
But the nerve.
That has stuck with me. And it's not, it comes back to that pretty for a dark-skinned girl, which is, something that a lot of our friends have, that we've talked about many times, about the way that you get treated as if it's a surprise that you're beautiful because you are dark. And so in reading that was what that brought up for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. And it all goes back to white supremacy, just being, indoctrinated with the idea that the further you are from whiteness, from white,
from
male,
the idea of that
white,
shit,
straight maleness, the farther you are from what's right,
and from grace, and God, and those translations, right?
And people will be so quick to classify themselves on a ladder just to make themselves feel superior.
Well, I mean, that's, as I do all these, talks about white supremacy, I mean, that's ultimately what we're always talking about. Folks will step on everybody else to get to the top of the ladder, like the Hoteps that we talked about. They aspire to whiteness. They want to be able to occupy the white, cisgender, heterosexual, Christian, wealthy, able-bodied man's spot at the top of the hierarchy.
So I was scrolling through Twitter today, and this is like a half-ass, half informed. I will say it now, but the bit I know, I'm like, this is already some fuck shit. So there's a picture of T.I. and Alex Jones, dapping it up, and they're like, yeah, we about to get it in and have some conversation, and it's just like, and so my first thought was, this is pure fuck shit. But also, it was a thought that see, this is this is a picture of Hotepness. Because although Hotepness is cloaked in the I love black people, I love all black things.
It's cloaked in pro-blackness.
It is the root of it is
An aspiration to whiteness.
So it's white supremacy. And so it's like, although T.I. is black and Alex Jones is white, they still share the same views on women. And it's just, and so I looked at that like, oh, here goes T.I. stepping on the necks of everybody else for the sake of being white aligned or closer to the top of that hierarchy.
I call that white aspiring.
Yeah. And ain't nothing worse than I think I respect an Uncle Ruckus more than I would a hotel.
I mean, at least that nigga honest.
Yeah.
He say what it is.
Yeah.
Instead of cloaking it in. I love my people.
I love black women. Yeah, bitch.
Which ones?
Don't get a job. Nah. So, or get a job and support us so I can be my black man. So, yeah. One of the things that stood out to me also in this was how when the woman was speaking, she said, my brothers were angry with me. They made me work in the vineyard. So I neglected my complexion. And bigger than neglecting your complexion, I feel like this is something that happens. Women tend to, well, not women, but people tend to throw themselves into service for other people and neglect themselves in the end. And then usually it takes something else happening for them to realize, oh shit, I've been slaving away for this.
Codependency.
Ding, ding, ding. But yeah, I've been slaving away and doing all of this for other people, and I've completely neglected myself. And I think that's something that we all do experience. And unfortunately, I think what's difficult about it is because as mothers and caretakers, it's a fine line because you got to take care of your kid.
Yeah, they like to eat all the time.
Girl.
3 times a day at least.
They're the worst. Like,
they be counting meals.
Didn't you just this? Why are you growing so much?
Oof.
So you have to, so your job, I don't want to say job, but what you do is take care of your kid, especially with us as single parents. I mean, I have a partner that supports, and you do too. But we're the primary caretakers, but there's a fine line of taking care of everyone else and taking care of yourself. And I used to say, I'm going to be selfish and do X, Y, and Z, but it's not even selfish. It's just, this is what I got to do.
You want to take a bath. You want to do more than take a 2-minute shower and sit in your tub for 30, 40 minutes. That's not being selfish. That's cleaning your ass.
Exactly. I actually just a couple minutes ago, I was telling Kenrya that, I've been going through lots of transition in my personal life. And today I was like, I'm going to have to leave this kid at home. I just got to get away. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll walk and go get some coffee. Maybe I'll do whatever. But
it's a gelato place up there.
Oh, okay.
It's good too.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? In order for this situation to continue to go as smoothly as it is, I need a break. I need to get away. I need to take care of myself. And I also think about relationships, be it romantic or whatever, where giving me stuff to do was a form of manipulation. Does that make sense? So, I am a caretaker. This is a codependency in me, but I take care of people.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to say the codependent. I know what you responded like that, but one of my codependent traits is that I have OCD. I take care of people. I organize. I yada yada yada. And I feel like there have been points in relationships where I got a little too independent or a little too on my own. And so then my partner finds things that they need for me to do in order to keep me under their thumb.
Been there, girl. I was making doctor's appointments and I'm like, I'm a goddamn secretary.
Yeah, and nothing's wrong with being a secretary. It's just like,
for
I'm
him,
your
no.
partner.
Exactly. That's my thing.
Yeah, and so and then you look up and you're like, damn, I didn't poured all myself into this person and nothing into me. And
he over here full as hell.
Or not even partaking in what I did. Because I've had guys that was like, I need X, Y, and Z. And so I, look codependent Erica, rush off, do it. And they're like, oh, well, not yet. And it's just like, well, damn, I didn't put all this energy into this. And just for you to be like, nah, I don't need it. So it's wild to see that shit go back to the Bible days. Since the beginning of time. Also, you read this so beautifully. And she said that I am merely a rose from the land of Sharon, a lily in the valley. And he was like, hold on, boo. Nah, boo. You a rose among thorns. And I think this goes to what we talked about with the I'm not like other girls. Or, like, oh, this whole thing, I'm just so plain.
The false modesty of it all.
Exactly. False modesty. Yeah. That's what I'm going for. And he was like, nah, boo. Don't be dimming your light. You a fly little sister. A fly little sweet thing. So I thought that was really cool. To me, this whole passage that we read was so amazing to see how the stuff that we do today and the ways that we think has been going on since the beginning of time. So
like their the whole thing, like every time it's he speaks and she speaks when they're talking about each other, it's like the old black man. I mean, I'm trying to get like you. Like the whole thing was like them one upping each other, talking about how great they were, and that really like hit me. I'm like, oh, y'all love each other.
So this is like the biblical version of that song. You will never be nothing in my mind, my boo.
I'm like, what are you saying?
Usher. Still all right, my boo. But like in my mind, this is like two people on the other side of the door,
yes,
like singing, like doing biblical prose. But yeah, so it's just really dope to see how this has carried over
time, all the way to Usher songs.
All the way to Usher songs. When picking this, I definitely try to stick to more. So the way that the entire chapter is written out, there's like a few players. So there's the woman, she speaks, the guy, he speaks, and there's like choruses, and there's
the women,
the group of women, and then there's the group of dudes.
Yeah, they're like friends.
Her brothers, I think.
Oh, I don't think we read anything from the brothers. Yeah, really, and then there's their friends, which pulls from both sides, I think.
But I really tried to stick to really just the woman speaking. There's a little bit of the guy speaking, and
we had to get a little bit of what he thinks.
Exactly.
I mean, let him big her up a little bit.
But I definitely try to really focus on the woman's perspective of this, just because that's what we're here for, women writers. So I just wanted to throw that in. One thing I also thought was really interesting. I keep saying one thing because there's a lot of one things. But there's a lot of I'm yours, you're mine, the possessiveness of it all. And I found that really interesting because, when you think Bible and you think men-women relationships in the Bible, you think man owning a woman. Well, not owning a woman, but, the woman being the property of the man, and that's it.
Literally traded for goods.
Cows. Yeah. Like, here's a wife and a cow in exchange for that. But I thought about the possession, like the whole idea of possession. You're mine, I'm yours. And it seemed like it was a little more mutual than.
Yeah, it was never just I'm yours. She always followed it up with and you're mine. Like, and I guess it doesn't bother me because it's mutual.
Yeah.
It's not, giving him all the ownership and the agency. And I mean, I think really that's what this really speaks to, is the agency of this black woman is what speaks to me most in this whole thing, is that she's not just sitting here pining away for this man. She go out in the streets and it's like looking for this joker.
Yes.
It's like telling her homegirls, if you see him, tell him I'm weak. Girl.
Yeah. It was so beautiful. Like, well, that until she got beat up by the guards.
Well, yeah, there.
But I mean, again, niggas gonna nig, and that was niggas nigging. Actually, that was the next part that I was
About the agency.
I'm a little confused about this.
Okay.
This because I read in certain places, and these were very like churchy websites, not really scholar. I mean, they were churchy scholarly websites. I'm probably using the wrong terms.
Okay.
As opposed to just a pure scholarly website, like it had a religious bent to it. That this book was written by a woman and Solomon, and they were going to marry and that kind of thing.
Oh, I haven't seen any of
However,
that.
reading this, I don't get that.
It doesn't feel that way.
It feels like it's just two people in love looking. Because if you're about to marry a man, why are you running around at night?
Right, when
in
she
the
never
streets sneaking
mentions
around?
at any point anything about them being married.
So
in the
there's
book.
a part that I
Is there?
cut out in the Erica contemporary
Abridged.
teaching. The Erica abridged version, Erica Bible study version. But there's Solomon like, hey, you're beautiful. I'm gonna pick you. You're gonna marry me. I mean,
But Solomon is not the man in the story.
I don't think he's the man in this story. And so,
and remember, she says my skin is dark like something, or Solomon's tense. From what I read, it's attributed, the writing is perhaps attributed to Solomon as the writer, but that he's not necessarily a player in the story.
okay, see, this is us trying to
Figure it out. We don't know. So.
Because the part where she's like, I'm in bed and I'm looking for my man, so I get up and throw on clothes and run through the city looking for him. Like, oh, whew. Honey.
You going looking for a man though?
No, but I have. I mean, like, I thought about that, like, laying in bed, scrolling nigga Twitter feed, like, what he doing tonight? Which, yes, I have in the past. Ooh,
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not like stalkerish. Like I guess that is a little stalkerish. I definitely have had some, like, not necessarily searching the streets for him, but just like, oh, what is this man doing? Oh, I want to be a little part of everything. What's happening here?
Yeah. I mean, I have are you on your way? I need you to be here now.
Okay.
You should come.
That's very different.
Oh.
Because I'm thinking about, like, I mean,
I'm just looking at
mine.
time.
I'm lustful.
Okay.
I'm lusting over this man. So, what's good? What you doing tonight? If you can't come out, what you doing then? That kind of thing.
Okay.
Which,
more DM sliding.
Yeah, I think I'm a little far. I think I'm past that right now in my life, just because I don't know if it's that I'm lazy or I haven't.
You got a lot going on.
Yeah, or just I haven't found anyone that
It's
tickles
worth
my
the
pickle
interest, yeah.
at that point. I definitely have people that I'm interested in and want to know, what's going on with them. But walking the streets looking for them,
Right.
I ain't there yet.
Well, but you also, as a grown up, just call them and say, hey, what you doing?
I am definitely at the point where I say what I mean what I say, and I am okay with the vulnerability of it all. If I want to see you, I want to see you, and I'm gonna tell you I want to see you. And you might have I understand we're adults and we have reasons that we're not, I got shit to do tonight. You ain't gotta tell me what you right. I can't, I got shit to do. Okay, I dig it, I get it, and I'm also more like, I pay attention to things more, because I've always been a, say what you mean what you say kind of gal. But I think I ignored some of the, I gotta go and wash my hair. And I'm like, oh, that nigga gotta wash his hair. What I'm like, no, bitch, you should have just been reading the fact that he's not interested in that kind of thing. So I'm still consistently say what you mean what you say, but I'm much better now at, like, reading between the lines. And I also I read between the lines, but I also check in and be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Is it true, or am I am I misunderstanding you. I always give people the opportunity to clear up what's unclear. It's difficult for some people because they're not, because they're so used to
conflict,
operating in ambiguity, because that gives you a level of like, well, I never said we was together, that kind of thing. So it's difficult for some people, but again, that's one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, you thrive off of ambiguity, and so I'm not going to be a part of this. So I'm not sure how we got here, but yeah.
Well, we were talking about whether or not you're running through the streets looking for a nigga.
Yeah.
So in part, I think it's because I'm in a relationship, and so we set up all these expectations really early. And so he asked me at one point, when we were figuring it out, how often do you want to see me? And I was like, well, how often do you want to see me? Because it was still early and I wasn't ready to put myself out there. And he was like, I want to see you every day. And I was like, oh, bet, yeah, I want to see you every day too. So then it just became anytime I start, and it does happen where I worry that I'm being needy because I've been taught that to need someone or to want someone is equivalent to being needy, and those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
But I check myself by remembering that conversation where we point blank laid out what our expectations were and what we wanted around spending time together. And we don't see each other every day, but if I want him to spend the night 4 nights in a row, well then, bitch, I say so.
Well, and we had this conversation earlier this week. Those conversations are difficult. Well, they're not difficult. Actually, they're not difficult, but they're uncomfortable when you're not used to having them.
But it's like a muscle.
Yeah, yeah. And you just got to work it more and more. Mm-hmm. But now that I am dating healthily, it's so much easier when you have those conversations up front, because then because I'm one of those people, like, let me know the rules. Let me know rules, and I decide
and stick to them.
If this is what I, give me all the information I need to know right now, and based on that information, I'll decide if I want to play. And if I want to play, I'm good because we got rules.
Right.
I get pissed when you break the rules. I was one of them kids like, but I'm following the rules and you're not. You're cheating.
Like my child.
Oh my God. Oh, my gosh. Oh, and it so gets on my nerves. So yeah, that was me. But yeah, I definitely am like, when I know the rules, if these are the rules we decide we're going to play by, then we're going to play by those rules. And that's great. If we need to, come back together and readjust, I'm all for that too. But these are the rules that we've agreed to. But I actually feel like an adult when I'm having these conversations and figuring out what one's boundaries are. And it's not sexy. No. But it's necessary to kind of help and make it healthy for all parties involved. It keeps everything from, because I'm thinking about the relationships that I've set up, that we've had those conversations about like parameters and that kind of thing. And I think should these relationships end, it won't be horrible, right? Because it's like, this is what we agreed to. If we don't want this anymore, let's check in and say it. Unless y'all fuck up and break some rules, then die, nigga, die.
But I mean, to me, like that setting of parameters and boundaries, I think that oftentimes when people hear that, especially men, they think of it as preventing them from doing something, like it's restrictive. But what I found is that it actually is freeing.
And I think that a guy that finds it restrictive is not.
He on some bullshit anyway.
Yeah. Like if you find us figuring out what is healthy for the two of us, a punishment or something like that, then
you should go do this with somebody else.
I don't need, this ain't where you need to be, because I need to know what's happening. That's how folks get hurt, when you start assuming shit and being all loosey goosey and so yeah. This is steamy.
It is.
It gets real steamy, and
if you pay close enough attention,
let them spread the aroma of my garden.
Yep.
Oh,
My fingers are dripping with perfume.
The one I love may enter and taste the delicious fruits. Like I just I find it. It's just like y'all talking about juices and fruits and things.
They are all the juices and the berries and the oils.
Yeah,
are going on.
They had peaches and eggplants in the Garden of Eden, huh?
Her breasts are grapes.
Yeah, well, mine ain't grapes, but raisins at some point. Not quite
stop
raisins, but
that's not true at all.
We're gonna come back to the steaminess. So I found it really funny how they pretty much had like an argument about like he came home and was like, knock knock, let's get it on. And she was like, but I took a shower.
I already washed my feet.
I don't wash my feet. I gotta get my feet dirty again. I was just like, yo, like is this what happened? And then she said, you know, all right, cool. Open the latch. Heart stood still. Rose to the door. Sorry. And he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then, well, yeah, go on, hands dripping. But it was just like, yo, like I found that such, again, some nigga shit from all the way in the back. Like,
well, but remember, I think that she said that was part of her dream, right? Like she was dreaming that was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it's like the fear of losing him that she was dreaming about, or of not missing that connection that she was dreaming about in that moment. I don't know.
Yeah, because the feeling was so strong that it caused her to get up and go looking for this Negro
and
through the streets.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she ran into a bunch of niggas that beat her up, which again I was just like, yo, like this is horrible. And then she ends it by saying, I'm weak with desire, which can be sweet, but I'm like, you just got your ass beat by a group of niggas.
So
like,
you probably weak from that.
Yeah, you probably weak from that too. Oh, I hate it. Okay, so again, we go into the biblical standards of beauty and metaphors of beauty, which I found just like, so some of them are like, oh, this is so great. Some of them are just like, this is kind of weird. His head is the purest gold. His hair is wavy, black as a raven. You can't tell me that ain't no black.
He got waves.
He got waves. he got a bitch seasick. His eyes are a pair of doves bathing in a stream flowing with milk. Okay, so off topic, but kind of on topic. I remember in college, I was taking a bus back to school. You know, that main bus that goes up the main street. So I'm like standing in Chinatown waiting to take that bus. And this man comes over and he is like, girl, you are beautiful. Your eyes are so clear. He's like, am I a horse? The fuck? I was like, oh, he's had a long life of doing drugs. Where to him, what makes me sexy is that I have clear eyes.
It's like, bitch, you ain't got glaucoma.
You ain't got no glaucoma. You ain't got no red eye. I mean, he probably see me now and be like, damn, ho, you been through some shit. But yeah. His arms are branches of gold covered with jewels. His body is ivory, decorated with sapphires. His legs are columns of marble on feet of gold.
Like a nice leg, thigh, butt situation.
Again,
yeah.
We here at the Turn On appreciate a solid undercarriage.
Okay, let's talk about this very briefly, y'all. The cast is walking around with the super developed upper bodies, but the little chicken legs.
Please don't.
Don't do it.
No.
Just squat.
Just as much as you do upper body, let's work on them legs. Please.
You can't hold me if your legs is like toothpicks.
Yeah, like, and I shouldn't be able to fit your jeans.
You know that happened to me once.
And you're not a big chick.
I am not no, he put on my jeans. And I was even littler then.
And I'm rolling my eyes, not on some, like maybe you're a man that likes a feminine.
Oh no, I didn't give a shit about that.
Yeah, like that's.
It didn't bother me that he tried them on. It was the fact that
you can actually fit them. Like I'm, and no offense against a smaller guy, because you know what, I might find a smaller guy.
I mean, I was with this guy. It was just his legs were so skinny. Upper body, fantastic. Legs, lordy.
Yeah.
Right on in my jeans.
No.
Yep.
No. Not at all. I need a. See, I'd like a man with a little.
You
fluff.
like yes.
I like a thicker gentleman. But I do appreciate a good body.
Yeah.
I do.
I do.
Body.
That's my
some shoulders.
my constant.
Throw them legs over.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. Okay. Yeah. See, look. He stands there majestic, like Mount Lebanon and his choice cedar trees. Like this
call back to the Old Testament when they was building and bringing the cedar from Lebanon.
Yeah,
I was like, I remember my Bible reading.
Oh, y'all want some strength. Okay. And this just reminds me, like, she's just describing a solid ass man. And that's what I want. I want you to be mentally solid, but I need you to be physically solid. Because I'm not a little bitch. And so you're going to have to be able to hold up all of this girth. I mean, I'm not huge.
You're not, no. But those two things go together, right? They should, ideally. It'd be nice if you could be mentally solid and emotionally solid and physically solid. I guess that's the goal, right?
So we have this passage. My darling has gone down to his garden of spices where he will feed his sheep and gather his lilies. Mm-hmm. What you think he going? You really think he going down to the garden of spices, or was that a metaphor?
Oh yeah, I think it's a metaphor for oral sex.
Okay, yeah, I did too. I was like, oh, put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Set your motherfucking mouth. Okay, wait. That song was like, if you had like a playlist of just.
Oh yeah.
When we got to college. Put this song on, complete banger. That song was it. Like
that's on that list.
Back that ass up.
Cash Money taking over for the 99 and 2000s on that list. Yes.
I'm talking to my sister. She had never heard this song in her
no
entire
way.
life.
She's only a couple years younger than we are.
I think it's an East Coast thing.
We're not from the East Coast. Had you never heard that song in Cleveland?
I can't remember.
I mean, not Cleveland. In your town.
I can't remember, but like, she thought it was like she thought it was like a parody. You know how niggas be making up shit on Instagram? She was like, that can't be a real song. I'm like, yo, like I sent her the Apple Music link.
Were we in high school when it came out?
I think the song is old.
I'm saying high school.
Yeah.
No. I think it came out when we were in high school, maybe 8th grade. Listen, we listen to that song all the time. And then Mike Jones took it and turned. You don't know Mike Jones?
I know Mike Jones.
Okay. He took that song and turned it into another song. It's a male version of it. Oh, I'm gonna have to play it for you later.
Yeah, okay. We'll add that to the playlist. We'll add that to the playlist.
So we were very into that song.
Yeah.
It has been a staple in various forms for me for probably 2 decades.
And then the follow-up, which will get me turned in the club, is the good classic by my homie in pink, Cameron, Suck It or Not.
Oh yeah.
He's so misogynistic.
It's just, he puts that shit out there though. He's direct.
He's like, you know what?
He is telling you what the rules are.
And I think that's why I appreciate the song, because he's like, this is what's on the table. My dick. You gonna suck it or not?
Yeah.
It's so horrible. It's so misogynistic. I was actually catching up on Blackish, and there was this whole episode where they kept the running joke was that Ain't No Fun is a problematic song.
I just watched that one like last week because I'm also way behind.
Yeah. And I love.
And Bo was in the car. She was like, I can't help it. We have a history with that song.
I love problematic music. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure.
We went on stage at Trap Karaoke and sang that song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. And I ain't even gonna say it's a problematic. It's just
Listen, it is what it is.
So yeah, put it in your mouth.
The best that Warren G has ever sounded is in his entire career.
Yeah.
He does not have a better verse. I'm sure he didn't write it, but he delivered it well.
No, I heard that Warren G was a writer because I'm listening to. I was catching.
But
up on
have
the
you
mobile
listened
soundtrack.
to a lot of his stuff?
Well, here's the thing: we're not looking for the greatest rapper, the greatest lyricist.
The delivery is a
It's
lot.
a mood.
Yes.
It's a mood. I'm sorry, a mood.
Yes.
And so that what's the song? The Indo Smoke from the what's the soundtrack? It was one of them South Central ass movies. Are you high yet?
I don't know that song.
You've never heard Indo Smoke?
I don't think so.
Bitch, we gonna ride out to Indo Smoke later today because it is definitely one of those like summertime groovy ass. Oh, this is perfect for this. You know, we're gonna smoke some weed in your car and ride out to Indo Smoke. The kids will be upstairs doing crafts.
Trifling.
Okay, damn, my bad. But yeah, that was definitely a put it in your mouth. Like this whole, I mean, I sound like my pastor when I go back to say like we really encourage you to read the entire book. It's not long.
It's not, but we couldn't do the whole thing, so we did have to
it's just
do
beautiful.
excerpts.
Okay, so we closed out the hour reading with, you know, him and her going on and on about how I'm yours, you're mine, you desire me, just getting good and nasty. And I love it. Like, it just kind of reminds me of those songs in the 80s where, like, they end with, like, a good, if this world was mine type joint where they just, you know,
Going back and forth.
going back in bliss. And so it was just a delightful kind of ending to it all.
She also, didn't she say, like, if the flowers are out, let's go have sex there? So there's
Hold on,
also a big up to outdoor outdoor situations.
Oh, I love some good outdoor sex. Beach sex, I think we talked about that, is not.
No, I've never done that
Great.
because it seems like it won't be great.
Yes.
And
At
it's
dawn,
not-
let's slip out and see if grapevines and fruit trees are covered with blossoms. And when we are there, I'll give you my love.
Yup.
Yeah, I have stored for you all kinds of tasty fruits.
Tasty fruits.
I love it.
I start calling it tasty fruits.
Yeah, you know what? We are now calling, giving some good love, giving you some tasty fruits. If your thing
It's
was a fruit,
delicious
what would it be?
and nutritious. What's nasty? Something that's sweet and juicy.
Yeah, I was so like,
Like a perfectly ripe nectarine. Like right at the beginning of June. When they're yeah.
I was told your pussy's like an orange. It's like just real, just squeezy and juicy. I was just like,
okay.
all right, I'll take that. I will take that. So yeah, an orange, a good around the way fillet orange,
I like it.
and not one of the ones with a thick skin, like, you know.
Nah, the Jones that's real easy to
Because again, this orange, if you got the right hand, you can open it quickly. So this takes me to my bigger question about, like, here we have this book of the Bible that is clearly about sex and a romantic sex, not that bullshit. This is the love the Lord has for the church. Girl, the Lord ain't churching nobody with some juicy fruit.
Well, yeah, I was reading that like a lot that is how folks have traditionally tried to dissect this book, is to say that it's symbolic of the Lord's love for his followers and the spirit.
Yeah,
but in more modern times, folks have been like, that's some bullshit.
But even if it's symbolic, like you used
Sexual language,
sex
yes,
to show symbolism, like
Right.
this is like, it's kind of like with the whole shepherd and stuff. Like, yeah, y'all use shepherd and sheep because niggas was doing shepherd and sheep shit.
Yeah.
Like, we use this. I mean, I think, again, I feel like the whole idea that this is a story symbolic of the Lord's love for the church. Yeah, I feel like that's bullshit. But even if we were to continue with that argument, like,
it's still that they chose
niggas
to
doing
use
sex
sexual
shit.
metaphors in order to do that,
exactly.
because people have sex.
Exactly.
If they are not asexual, then they are probably having sex in some way. And hell, asexuals still have self-sex, so it's all sex.
Sex is happening.
Exactly.
Even back in the Bible times. Somebody's probably cringing every time I say
The Bible times. Some would say that we are always in the Bible time.
You know what? You're right. Look at God. Okay, so when you were growing up, what were your thoughts about, like, because I feel like I feel like growing up, you have ideas and thoughts about one thing. The thing that makes you more of an adult is when you kind of figure out how to merge those.
Yeah, how those things can intersect.
Yeah, how those things intersect. So what were your thoughts about sex and religion growing up?
I don't think I had any. I mean, I didn't grow up in like a super churchy household. I've written about this a bit. Like, in my home, like, my father was you need to know about all religions. So, like, when Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on the door, my daddy invited them in and we had Bible study. I've been to Kingdom Hall. I've been to a temple. Like, I've been to a lot of different places because my dad was very like, God is everywhere. Let's go get some. You know what I mean? Kind of a situation. But I think because he was loosey-goosey on that, and I didn't start going to church regularly until I was in high school, and that was of my own volition. Like, I didn't even go with my family. There was no, like, grandmother telling me that, you know, touching myself was not of God and it was dirty. There was no, don't have sex until you know, that's something that you say for your husband. I literally didn't get any of that from the people around me. So I think that the most that I would have known about it is just from, like, media.
Yeah.
In terms of what that looks like. And I can't say that it ever, not in any direct way, informed me. Like, I never, ever had the idea that I was going to wait until I was married to have sex.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Like, what were your thoughts around, like, your virginity? Was it like something sacred, or?
It was, but it wasn't sacred in terms of religion. It was, so I was 18 when I lost my virginity. And for me, it was more of this, I am this nerdy ass idealist and this is the way that it has to go. So it was prom weekend. It was with my boyfriend who was trash. It was, I rented a hotel room and lied and told my daddy that all my friends were staying at this hotel. It had to be like the whole, you know, what I thought a movie would look like in terms of losing my virginity. And then, of course, it was terrible. But I had this whole plan in my head. And so it was more about me feeling like I was emotionally ready, and having hit this specific number, I felt like 18 was grown enough that I wasn't doing something that I wasn't emotionally ready for in my mind. I was very logical about it. So I think that no matter who I had been with at that point, because I had decided that that was the way that I should lose my virginity, that was what it was going to be. So it was never this whole thing about, oh, God is going to, you know, feel a way about me doing this at this age or in this stage. That never really played into it for me. What about you?
So I grew up with a very religious, I mean, not like crazy religious, but definitely went to church every Sunday kind of grandmother. It's hard to say I grew up in the church because now I have a partner who grew up in the church. I'm like, oh,
that's a different life. Yeah, that's that. You at church every Wednesday, you at church every Tuesday, you at church all day Sunday for every service life.
I'm like, oh, I ain't grew up in the church like that. So I grew up in the church light, Lite, like a crystal light. So I definitely, I mean, when I lost my virginity, maybe this was the church light speaking to me, but I didn't think much about like, oh, the Lord's gonna kill me or something like that. I mean, like, I'm gonna go to hell because of that. Because I also grew up in a home where we were surrounded by LGBTQ people, and so the religion that I got as a child was very much, love all
Inclusive,
people.
yeah.
That kind of religion, and not the fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
So, yes, on one hand, I was like, ugh, I don't think God chilling would be happy with me on this. I also was on the but God love everybody. I ain't killed nobody. We good, So I think I was a little less freaked out about losing my virginity because, again, y'all heard the story, marching band, waterbed. But as I get older, I think about how I want to teach my son about sex and how this jives with religion, because I feel like now I am a lot more spiritual and religious than, I hate saying religious because that connotes Jerry Falwell. But I'm a lot more religious now than I was growing up or even as a kid. As a young adult or even as a kid. And I think I want my child to look at sex the way you did. Am I ready for it? Is this something that I want to do? I don't think he, needs to. I think you made critiquing your shit, but I think you grew up a lot faster than you should have, and so you made this decision from a 30-year-old, 18-year-old.
I did.
Frame of
we
mind.
had condoms with spermicide. We had separate minoxidil, whatever that stuff. I was so serious. I was like, I got college to go to. You ain't finna knock me up. I had a whole situation together.
Yeah, but so I don't need you to, because your situation was you don't know what you don't even know kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? You swore you knew it all, but you was like, oh, poor baby, you don't know shit. So I don't want my kid to necessarily be there, but I also want him to understand that
the implications of
it's
joining
not
with someone
you're about to make some soul ties with the motherfucker or something like that. It's just you need to feel like you're ready for sex and the consequences that come from it. There's a lot more than just, am I gonna get her pregnant or am I gonna get a cheesy dick? But yeah, and then also as I become a lot more liberal in my sex, because I do it all, y'all. I do a whole lot. I don't think I touched on, I think y'all kind of get that from listening to me, but I have fun.
You do. And it's interesting. I was just thinking about it. I also think we haven't really talked about the full extent of what partners look like. I think so far it probably sounds like you only have sex with men, and that's not true.
That's not true. I like to swim in all ponds. We'll say that. And so I think even as I deepen my spirituality, I also get more into my sexual freeness, and I don't think that there's necessarily a need to jive. You want to be does this fit in with these other held beliefs? And I think right now I'm at a point where I don't think it necessarily needs to fit in. I just reading the Song of Solomon. It is look, this is a piece of this couple's life, meaning sex is a part of it. Yeah. And we only got a slice of it because there might have been more juicy fruits. There might have been pears, pineapples, blueberries,
watermelons,
all types of juicy fruits, but and I'm debating if I want to share this because it might be sharing too much about someone else, so I'm going to hold off. Just okay. I don't mind sharing my shit, but I don't want to share other
you don't want to tell
shit.
other people's stories,
but as I grow and do more in my sexual exploration, I don't have a feel of ooh, God's gonna get me, Yeah,
I don't think I've ever felt that before, but that's not the God I know.
Yeah, the God I know is a God that loves all and knows that we all fuck up. And it was interesting because at church a few weeks back, the pastor did a sermon on the environment, climate change.
Oh, yeah.
It was such a good sermon. And one of the things he said, he was like, what makes a sin is what is the intent, is like what's behind it. So like being adulterous is a sin because you're treating this person as if they're for you and you only. You're treating this person as if they exist to be your sexual object. And you're not thinking about the fact that this person has a wife and kids and, you know, or this, you know, like that there's more than, you're treating this person as you were here for the sake of giving me pleasure. And I get that, you know, I mean, he didn't go as far as to say like, y'all can, you know, go out and fuck all willy-nilly. But I get that, you know, because I feel like sex is more than just, I mean, it's intimate. It's an intimate act, but it's also, and I don't want to like cheapen it. I'm thinking this through as I talk to y'all. So y'all might feel like I'm going all over the place, because I am, but we'll get there. So just stay on this train with me. So I feel like sex is pleasure between two people that's shared. Or more. Yeah. especially for me. Sex is between people that share, like that's a shared pleasure. Like I'm giving you pleasure, you're giving me pleasure, we're sharing this pleasure. I don't want to go as far. I mean, I do think that sex is intimate, but it's not like the ultimate intimate act.
Which we talked about a bit in the last
I feel like intimacy is built over time. Also, so you know, I don't want to. Look at my sexual experiences as spiritual also. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's nasty, but sometimes it's like, it's like.
In that it takes you out of yourself, but also puts you in yourself at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you're such a writer.
Where you're so grounded in what you're doing in that moment, but also connected to everything else that's going on. It's like a beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit, because when you were talking about what Pastor said about like the intent is what makes it sin, I find that an interesting reading, because like as somebody who does social justice and racial justice work, you know, we talk about how intent is not what's important, it's the impact. So to take this to, I'll take it to a non-sexual place and into a sexual place. It's when a white person says, well, I didn't mean to, you know, make you feel like I was a racist or what, you know, I didn't mean to call you a nigger. I didn't mean that you're a nigger. Well, nigga, your intent might not have been racist, but your impact was, you know what I mean? You claim that you didn't intend to hurt me, but you did. To take it to a sexual place where these men typically say that they didn't intend to sexually abuse or harass or otherwise, you know, impugn somebody else. And they say that that wasn't their intent, but the impact was that it was traumatic for that person. And so what we speak to is the way that people are affected by the things that we do in the world. So like even with my daughter, she'll say, mama, you know, that hurt. You when you said that hurt me. I don't say, I didn't mean to hurt you. I say, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. It's not about what I meant to do. It's about how she felt. I just wanted to speak to that language. That really like made my ears perk up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to think about it. And I think that. Yeah, that's something I got to think about.
It works really well to think about that framework when you're apologizing.
Yeah. And I think that's also great framework for men to think about. Well, for people to think about when they go into sexual experiences with people, because yes, the intent might not be to harm, but if you think this through. Okay, so this reminds me of a situation I had with a partner. So we were conversing, had plans, that kind of thing, and it ended up where he suggested something that I was like, yo, whoa, what the fuck, you know? And it wasn't anything like sexual or crazy. It was just like a situation.
He was trying you.
Yeah, I was like, you trying to play me. And I don't think that he necessarily was. And so I don't think the intent of like, you know, trying to play Erica, pull some crazy. I don't even think he was trying to pull some crazy shit. It was just like, dude, had you thought this through about how I might have felt? And I mean, this is still kind of new, so I don't think he quite gets everything about me. And this might have been a situation someone else was okay with. But knowing me, knowing how I roll, I was like, no, this ain't a situation I'm trying to be in. And it's interesting because I don't think the intent for harm or anything crazy to happen was there, but it's just kind of like, had you thought about this a little bit more, you wouldn't have suggested it.
Right.
You know? So yeah, I find that, that's a really good way of thinking about, you know, when you're going into a situation, you might be okay with it, but just do a little deeper thinking about, you know, the person you're with, their headspace, and what they might want. We didn't talk. You didn't tell me, or maybe I missed it. What are your thoughts about, like, what are you going to teach your child about sex and...
Yeah, I think I'm going to teach her, you know, with regards to religion and sex is the same thing as religion and everything, right? Like, we are children of God. There is nothing that God has created you to do that is sinful. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that, you know, I think I've heard people frame all types of things as being sin using, you know, it's people I'm sure that think that this show is sinful. I think it's more about just making sure that she's pleasing to God and that she is kind to other people and that she, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that is more of what that is. I'm not a hardliner. Leviticus said, don't pierce your ears and don't eat shellfish.
Well, and also,
you know.
this makes me think just the bigger picture about, like, it is when I did the read the Bible in a year app thing. Well, I didn't read
I have 3 times gone through and not finished.
And it's like September, November.
It always gets to, like, the end of the year, and then things get hectic and then I fall off. Yeah. So I start over.
But, you know,
I know the Old Testament real well.
It is very difficult for me to get through the Old Testament.
Yeah.
It is very difficult.
It's tough.
Actually, our church was supposed to have a Bible study. It didn't really go in as deep as I wanted it to. But it's very difficult for me to digest the Old Testament. Primarily because people still use that as a foundation for certain things. Right.
Even though the New Testament is a whole new animal.
And so it's a very tough piece of work to swallow. And then you combine
not to mention numbers and
and then you combine that with, you know, sex is sin, yada yada yada. I'm like, yo, like we was wilding in the Old Testament. So
yeah, I mean, giving up our daughters to be raped because it was preferable to that than someone having sex, like gay sex, like all of these things. And it's so hard. Remember, we were struggling trying to find really good womanist interpretations of the Bible, and there just aren't a lot of, like, there's really no devotionals that really do that.
I need a good, like, womanist devotional.
Because not just feminist because that white lens, but you know, like a feminist reading of this would likely gloss over the I am dark and beautiful. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, they would use the I am dark yet beautiful.
Right, and use that to justify their fairness, why it's beautiful. Yeah, so that, and then a lot of it for me is about shoring up the way that she feels about herself and her body. Yeah, I think that will inform, because I guess it has informed a lot of the way that I've related to people, having that firm foundation in who she is. And, you know, like we talk about masturbation, about how self-pleasure is not just okay, but it is good, and have her enter into any type of relationships that she would have in a sexual nature with other people with that grounding of who she is and what's pleasurable to her will be really important. And the third part is consent, which I have been working with her on since forever. I mean,
and it's consent with children is just it's so simple yet difficult, because the way that kids play is all like I'm like a broken record with keep your hands to yourself, keep your hands to yourself, keep your hands to yourself. And bigger than the like fighting thing, it's just like, this is your body. People aren't allowed to touch it unless you give them permission.
Right. And I mean, I think to me, the simple part of it is when you boil it down to the autonomy of it. So What I tell her, like when we were going to see a dermatologist and she had to, she was in a gown and they wanted to look at the eczema that was on her bottom. And I said, hey, you get to say whether or not she can look at you. So is it okay if she looks and touches you? And she said yes. And taking every opportunity to remind her that she gets to decide who touches her body. Mm-hmm. So, when they're fighting or when they're, that's your body, that's their body. You get to decide, but let's not touch each other in ways that aren't gentle. When it's, with her and her friends all over each other, like reminding them of that. When it comes down to, I'm forgetting another example of when I always bring in the autonomy part of it. It'll come back to me. But I think that there are lots of moments, because as you said, kids are always in each other's faces, to remind them that they get to make those choices from a super early age, so that hopefully they don't get boxed into those places that a lot of us as, older women have, where we found ourselves not really feeling like we had the agency to tell somebody to get off of us. Yeah. Because we weren't taught, hugs, that was the thing. I don't make her hug people. If someone wants to hug her, I ask her if she wants to. I give her the choice. And sometimes she says no. And she ain't got to. I'm never forcing my kid to hug anybody. And it's not just not hugging men. It's not hugging anybody if she doesn't want to. That's her body. She don't have to have somebody all up in her area like that. Yeah. So, giving her from the very beginning, letting her know that she can use her voice to say no, from the consent standpoint has been super important. And I think those are the three things that rock for me in terms of preparing her for that later. Yeah. I totally agree. Actually, we went to a new doctor yesterday, and I thought it was really dope. Older Black woman, and she, my son's hitting puberty age, so she had to check his parts. Oh, yikes. She was like, I'm just looking to see what is he approaching puberty, because they look different. I did not know that. And so she looks at me and she's like, Mom, can I check him? Good. And I said, yes. And then she looks at him and she's like, no one is allowed to touch you unless you say you can and your mom says you can. And she said, it's fine. Can I look? And he was like, yeah. And I just thought, it wasn't like a huge thing. It's just worked into what you do. And I think that's really dope, because I don't think that every parent says that to their kids. I don't think it's like something. I don't think people think about it always. So folks are not super intentional about the way that we raise our kids. Yeah, you just do it. And so I thought it was great that she said that in front of both of us. And then it was also it's also a check to parents that don't do that. Like, if you don't ever hear it, you heard it here. Right here. So I thought that was really dope. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more to add to this conversation? No, just that I'm really glad that we did this. I thought it was a great idea. Hats off to you. Thank you. We talked about it a few episodes ago about how this show will not always be what you think it's going to be. And that our whole thing of sex and really holds. It's not, just sex and talking about a body part, or sex and talking about anal. It's sex and religion. It's sex and patriarchy. It's sex and race. And that this is a great episode for highlighting that. So, great. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Turn On. And this is Erica and Kenrya, two hoes making it biblically clap. Okay. This episode was produced by us, Kenrya and Erica, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Hit subscribe right now in your favorite podcast app and at youtube.com/The Turn On Podcast, so you'll never miss an episode. Then follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. And you can find links to books, transcripts, guest info, what's turning us on, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. And don't forget to email us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com with your book recommendations and your pressing sex and related questions. And you can support the show by leaving us a 5-star review, buying some merch, or becoming a patron of the show. Just head to theturnonpodcast.com to make that happen. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla.